This is BNGNEO, a Minecraft YouTuber who time and time again seems to make the worst decisions. From manipulating people with suicide to inappropriately messaging a 14-year-old girl at the age of 19, his reputation online has only diminished. BNGNEO was talking to a 14-year-old girl. This 14-year-old girl confessed her feelings for him, and rather than denying her outright, he said that later on, when she's older, they can date. And rather than being the adult in the situation and denying any further advances, he led the 14-year-old girl on by saying, "I love you" multiple times, and when the victim sent her face to him, he sent philuster emojis. Pretty bad conversations to be having with a minor. Not only that, he was doing textbook grooming. He was building up a relationship with the victim with the intent to date her when she was older. When I confronted him about this, he simply said, "I didn't know it was grooming." Although this was in Cole, I do have him saying around the same sentiment in our messages. But I personally struggle to believe this. He is a near 20-year-old man claiming that he doesn't know what grooming is. I left Cole with Neo to talk about it to the original leaker of the image and other server members. Eventually, Neo bugged me enough to ask me to go into another call with him, where he would try to defend himself with the same points I already heard him bring up earlier. Finally, he started talking about how he's going to take a big break from social media and the internet. I personally told Neo to block the girl and delete all of his servers, as even if it is true that he didn't know it was grooming, that's just as bad. He is an adult who didn't know basic consent laws around minors when he worked with primarily minors. Considering this is the Minecraft community, I'm just not surprised. He actually did delete all of his servers alongside his YouTube channel, and then blocked the girl afterwards. He did message me when he was going to update me further on his break online, which I was fine with and encouraged at this time. So everything should be good, right? So for this next section, I need to introduce you to one of Neo's defenders, Pearl. Her name will be hidden as the victim requested it herself. All you need to know about her is that she was one of the victim's friends and the only friend that we know of at the time, and was friends with BNGNEO. When I originally messaged the victim, I got a response. Not from her, but from her friend, Pearl, telling me to leave her alone, which I found fair because this is a traumatic experience for a minor, and she doesn't want messages from some guy she barely knows. But I found out through further messages that she wasn't saying this for the victim's sake. In fact, she said it's her choice if she wants to talk to the guy who confessed to grooming her. She's 14. She cannot give consent to being groomed. She should not talk to the guy who admitted to do so. Pearl is the same age as me, by the way, so I was baffled at this as to why she would condone this behavior at all, only to find out that she was hiding her true intentions. I decided to see what Neo was doing a few days later, so I did digging. I found out that the girl Pearl from earlier made a new server, and I joined on an ult. And when I joined, I found that Neo was in the server alongside the victim. So much for his break online. I told him to block the victim and not to interact with her at all, but he's in a server where he can actively interact with her. So I attempted to confront him, but when I went to message him, I found out that he unfriended me on Discord. How is he meant to keep me updated like he said earlier when he can't even message me? So then I try and join on my main so I can message him directly, and I'm instantly banned. So I try and join on a different ult, then boom, another ban. Luckily I still had my original account left in the server to keep tabs on what was going on. I got a message from Pearl, who I assumed was the one to ban me.
"Hey, look, I'm sorry I keep banning you, but I'm trying to run a server without problems, which is going brilliantly so far. So why have you joined twice now? I'm sorry, I don't want you there."
It's clear that she knew exactly why I was there. It's kind of a no-brainer, but I still did want to confront her on why she would actively allow Neo to be on the server. Why is this cockroach BNGNEO on the server? I actively told him to stay away from the victim and block her as he admitted to trying to groom the girl. This was incredibly concerning because Neo actively went against what I told him to do, and Pearl is enabling him to have a connection with the victim. Our back and forth was unpleasant to say the least. She called me rude, petty, but she did never deny that Neo groomed the girl, but never outright admit so either. Eventually, she claimed that Neo was only there to help set up the Discord server. So I asked, if Neo was only there to set up the server, surely you wouldn't mind kicking him, right? She said, sure, and then didn't kick him. And as of a week later, he was actively on the server, playing on the Minecraft server, and from what I know, definitely talking. I sent Neo a friend request earlier to confront him in call. Eventually, he accepted. He said that he wasn't talking to the victim, so I asked him to screen share, and I quickly found out it was a lie. She had messaged him a Discord server after Neo supposedly blocked her. I joined the Discord server that was sent and found him actively talking in it and interacting with the victim. I've given this guy ample opportunity to get the fucking help he needs, but clearly he doesn't want to listen to me. But then he told me something that was genuinely so fucked up. By the way, in this clip, she refers to Pearl.
She does not like you, dude. I'm gonna be so fucking for real. She thinks she gets the entire situation, like, entirely. Like, she gets the moral aspect of it.
Yeah.
But she does say that I have done nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. I didn't start the conversation. Started it with me. I just took the situation and worded it horribly.
Do you agree that you've done nothing wrong and all that?
Oh no, I agree that I've done something wrong, and that's why
Right. But do you agree with what Des?
in an aspect, yes, but
Like, what asked? Like, do you agree that, like, she messaged you first? That's kind of on her or whatever?
in a way, yeah, but it's more or less I'm in the wrong because of how I handled the thing, or the situation. With someone
Right.
with fucking ADHD and anxiety, yeah, I don't know how the fuck to handle something like that.
There is so much I have to say about this. One, he blames him trying to groom a girl on ADHD and anxiety.
Nah, I'd probably break it.
Think of that what you will. Not only that, Pearl is quite literally victim blaming and is the only person close with the victim and the owner of the server. She does not understand the situation morally, and Neo, you should be agreeing with her at all. Not in the slightest. What he should have said is, I fucked up. You don't need to justify me or my actions. I realize what I did was wrong and it should not be justified. But instead, he would rather kinda agree with her, but kinda not, and actively surround himself with people who are in a circle jerk and will agree with his actions no matter what. I left call with Neo, disappointed. I tried to help him, even helping him get therapy, but he didn't actually want to make a change. Not to mention he was acting all nice to me in VC, but then he accidentally leaked his DMs of Pearl and called me a stalker. Later on, the victim messaged me herself, talking to her friends outside of Pearl. They helped her realize that she was being groomed. And we had a back and forth, and I was glad that she could come to senses and realize what had happened to her. According to the victim, after she expressed how uncomfortable she was with Neo still being on the server, Pearl refused to kick him. Eventually, she did kick him, but that was most likely because it came to everyone's attention. And according to sources I have from inside their server, she let him back on the Minecraft server to help set it up. We're doing this again, aren't we? And because of that, the victim rightfully left the server, and I'm glad she did. BNGNEO claims to me that he's trying to improve, but then he does shit that actively harms the victim. I have talked to him in VC and DMs, attempting to help him stop, but honestly, I can't do it anymore. He was going to wait for her to turn legal, and actively said, I love you multiple times to the 14-year-old, and is actively talking about making a response video with others for the future, claiming he wants to be just like this big YouTuber who did the same thing. Sponker, if you want to know. He doesn't care about getting better, and I can prove this. State your name for the interview, please.
Levi.
I'm Aria.
My name is JetcordYT.
I'm AOC, bro.
What was your relationship like with BNGNEO?
I was a pretty close friend of his for like a pretty fair chunk of time, a couple months. I met him through just his server, asked him to join, and we became friends through that. I kind of played the role of not a therapist for him necessarily, but I tried my best to help him out when I could, along with another friend of ours. We generally just helped him whenever we could, but it definitely felt like he ignored that a lot of the time. But he was definitely someone I saw a lot of chance in. I definitely thought he could improve, and that's why I stuck around for so long, but I guess I was wrong.
Like a sister, apparently.
So that's what he said?
Yeah.
Honestly, I used to be a really close friend to him. We used to be like extremely close, and honestly, I would be there for him during his ups and downs.
Can you describe like some of his behavior outside of like what has happened now? Like, can you?
He would like switch up every other day, you know? One day he'd be able to take a joke, the next he couldn't. He would just show genuine anger towards like the world, self-victimizing himself a lot.
He wanted to crash out fully. Was never calm.
He was pretty much the same. He was egotistical. He used suicide a lot to bait people. He did a lot. So to be honest, he kind of was just a shitty person before.
What's the worst thing you'd say he has done outside of course, like what has happened now?
Probably bullying Winterfire. I think that was like disgusting. Winterfire's like a 14-year-old kid. He didn't do anything. Joined the server because he liked Minecraft. Pretty classic thing, you know. He looked up to Neo like a role model, which, you know, you would when you join a server at that age.
Yeah.
And the owner is an adult. But instead of taking up that role, Neo would bully him essentially and look at that role as a role model that he should have taken up. And when confronted about that, he would just say nobody looks up to him, and he'd just be playing victim again.
Probably would be the fanfics he made about the server members. He back then, and I learned currently, he still made fanfics about individuals, either in his life or people in his servers. And by the way, these people were minors, and he would pretty much talk about them in sexual ways.
If you had one more thing to say to BNGNEO, what would it be?
Well, flat out, Neo, you're a actually just disgusting person. I have zero respect left for you. As much you've tried to change so many times apparently, and yet every time it falls through. You're a very fake person, and generally, I have zero respect for you whatsoever.
Because I tried telling him to get help several times. Literally, I've called him multiple times saying, hey, you need to get some form of like help besides being chronically online. But he didn't really want to listen to me. I think it's crazy to me, the fact that he's trying to actually reach out for help, and it took him dating a 14-year-old for him to actually go out and reach for help.
Delete everything that you have currently. Your Discord, your YouTube, everything. Just delete it, man. Because honestly, you being on the internet isn't doing any best for you. In fact, it's actually just giving you worse, to the point where you want to date a 14-year-old, man. And honestly, bro, get help, man. Get a life, dude. Honestly, man. Because you need one, like, really badly.
A name kept popping up in my interviews, Winterfire. So I got in contact with this Winterfire person. A lot of people corroborate the story that Neo used Winterfire as a sort of emotional punching bag. Winterfire had this to say. He basically told me to kill myself and called me a shit person for killing his dogs in Minecraft for someone's video. By the way, I wasn't trying to make fun of anyone there. I just started quite a bit. Not only has he attempted to date a 14-year-old, but he has actively used 14-year-olds as emotional outlets for his rage. Neo has quit content indefinitely. At least that's what he's told me. But before he blocked me and didn't talk to me anymore, he started to change what he was saying. Rather than it was him inappropriately talking of a minor, it was now he felt forced to inappropriately talk with the minor because she had emotional baggage. There's not much more I can say about this, other than I really hope he does change. That's not very nice. I am Flick23. What's up? You're fat as shit. I'm Flick23.
Yeah, and well, you're annoying as shit, Flick. So sorry to burst your bubble, man. It's a sad truth. You want to tell the truth to everybody?
Again, some sunny day.